South Carolina, the 11th undefeated team to reach the championship. This is also a rematch from last year's semifinals.
Welcome back to Women's Basketball Fandom. This is our third bracket breakdown of the Selection Sunday Special here on the WBF. After exploring the exciting matchups in Spokane 1 and Birmingham 2, we're now turning our attention to the Birmingham 3 region, where we'll see another fascinating collection of teams vying for a spot in the Sweet 16 and beyond. The Birmingham 3 region features some incredible storylines, from Texas's dominance behind their young star Madison Booker.
Booker on a wraparound again. Boy, she's devastating when she makes that move.
To first-time tournament appearances for programs like William and Mary and Fairleigh Dickinson. We'll see traditional powerhouses like Tennessee and Notre Dame, alongside rising programs looking to make their mark on the national stage. As we continue our comprehensive coverage of the 2025 NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament here on the WBF, let's dive into the Birmingham 3 bracket and explore what makes this region so compelling. Get ready for analysis, predictions, and all the excitement that makes March Madness the greatest tournament in sports.
Madison Booker is a talented freshman.
She's elite. She may be one of the best mid-range players in the country, even as a freshman.
This young lady can ball for sure.
Texas Longhorns, the #1 seed. At the top of the Birmingham 3 bracket sits the Texas Longhorns, a team that has earned their #1 seed through dominant defensive play and the stellar performance of their young superstar, Madison Booker.
Two teams will move on to Sunday. Let's go. We're excited to be with you, Courtney Lau, alongside the Hall of Famer.
The SEC Player of the Year has been nothing short of phenomenal this season, showcasing a versatility and maturity that belies her youth. Texas's identity is built around their suffocating defense, which has disrupted opponents all season long. Their ability to force turnovers and convert them into easy transition buckets has been a key ingredient in their success. The Longhorns' defensive intensity creates a cascading effect. Opponents become hesitant, possessions become labored, and scoring opportunities diminish. What makes Texas particularly dangerous is how they've complemented their defensive prowess with an increasingly efficient offense. Booker's ability to create for herself and others gives the Longhorns a reliable scoring option when they need a bucket in critical moments. Her development as a playmaker has elevated the entire offensive unit. Texas will face the winner of a first four matchup between High Point and William and Mary, two programs with very different tournament histories. High Point is making their second appearance since 2021, while William and Mary is hoping to make their first ever NCAA tournament appearance, should they advance from the first four. For Texas, this tournament represents an opportunity to validate their regular season success with a deep March run. Their combination of elite defense and star power makes them the favorite in this region.
In the history of the Big 12, you got Player of the Year.
Here at the WBF, we're particularly excited to see how Booker performs on the big stage, as this tournament could be her coming out party on the national scene. Illinois versus Creighton. Our 8-9 matchup in the Birmingham 3 region features the Illinois Fighting Illini taking on the Creighton Blue Jays in what should be one of the most competitive first-round games. Illinois enters as the 8th seed after securing their second 20-win season in the last 3 years, a testament to the program's growing stability and development. The Fighting Illini have built their success on disciplined play and execution, rarely beating themselves with careless mistakes or poor shot selection. Creighton comes in as the 9th seed following their second consecutive 25-win season, establishing themselves as one of the most consistent programs in the country. The Blue Jays bring a balanced attack with multiple scoring options and a system-based approach that maximizes their personnel. This matchup presents a fascinating contrast in program trajectories. Illinois continuing their upward trend versus Creighton maintaining their established excellence. Both teams are well coached and disciplined, suggesting a closely contested battle that could come down to execution in the final minutes. The winner will likely face the daunting task of taking on Texas in the second round, but both teams have the experience and basketball IQ to potentially give the Longhorns a challenge if they advance. For women's basketball fandom viewers who appreciate fundamental basketball played with precision, this 8-9 game promises to deliver. Ohio State versus Montana State. The 4-13 matchup in Birmingham 3 features the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Montana State Bobcats in what appears to be a significant mismatch on paper. Ohio State secured the 4 seed following their 4th consecutive 25-win season, establishing themselves as one of the most consistent programs in the country. The Buckeyes have built a culture of excellence that is translated into sustained success, making them a perennial tournament threat. Montana State enters as the 13th seed after achieving their first 30-win season in program history. The Bobcats have put together a remarkable campaign, and their tournament appearance represents the culmination of years of program building. While they enter as significant underdogs against Ohio State, they bring momentum and confidence from their historic season. For Ohio State, this game represents the first step in what they hope will be a deep tournament run. Their consistency over the past 4 seasons has created high expectations, and anything short of a Sweet 16 appearance would be considered a disappointment. Montana State, meanwhile, will embrace their underdog status and look to create a memorable moment for their program. Their 30-win season hasn't received the national attention it deserves, and a strong showing against Ohio State could change that narrative. As we watch this matchup unfold, we'll be paying close attention to how Montana State handles Ohio State's experience in depth. The Bobcats' historic season gives them a unique, nothing-to-lose mindset that could make them dangerous, especially if Ohio State isn't fully focused. Here at the WBF, we appreciate these program-building stories that make March Madness such a special event. Tennessee versus South Florida. In our 5-12 matchup, the Tennessee Lady Vols will face the South Florida Bulls in what could potentially become one of those classic 5-12 upsets that define March Madness. Tennessee enters as the 5 seed, despite struggling near the end of the season. The Lady Vols have been one of the most volatile teams in the country this year, capable of beating anyone when they're clicking, but also vulnerable to unexpected losses. Their ability to score off turnovers has been a key strength, creating easy transition opportunities that fuel their offense. South Florida secured the 12th seed by winning the American Conference Tournament, riding a wave of momentum into the NCAA tournament. The Bulls' conference tournament run showcased their resilience and ability to perform under pressure, qualities that translate well to the winner-go-home environment of March Madness. This matchup presents a fascinating contrast: Tennessee's storied program and tradition against South Florida's hunger and momentum. The Lady Vols will need to recapture their mid-season form and avoid the late-season struggles that threaten to derail their campaign. For South Florida, this opportunity represents a chance to secure a signature win against one of women's basketball's most recognizable brands. The Bulls will enter with confidence from their conference tournament success and embrace their underdog status. Women's basketball fandom viewers should pay close attention to the early minutes of this game. If South Florida can establish confidence and rhythm early, they could seriously challenge a Tennessee team that has shown vulnerability. We'll be highlighting this potential upset opportunity in our coverage here on the WBF. Notre Dame versus Stephen F. Austin. Our 3-14 matchup features the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Stephen F. Austin Lady Jacks in what could be a showcase for one of the tournament's most exciting players. Notre Dame enters as the 3 seed, though they were positioned as a potential 1 seed earlier in the season before sliding to the 3 line. The Fighting Irish have shown flashes of elite play throughout the year, particularly when star guard Hannah Hidalgo is at her best. Hidalgo's combination of scoring, playmaking, and defensive intensity makes her one of the most complete players in the country. Stephen F. Austin comes in as the 14th seed after securing their automatic bid. The Lady Jacks bring a proud basketball tradition and won't be intimidated by the moment or the opponent. Their disciplined approach and execution-based system have been the program's hallmarks for years. For Notre Dame, this tournament represents an opportunity to recapture their early season form and make the deep run that seemed inevitable in December and January. If Hidalgo plays to her potential and the supporting cast provides consistent contributions, the Fighting Irish could be a legitimate Final Four threat despite their 3 seed. The key storyline to watch in this matchup is how Stephen F. Austin attempts to contain Hidalgo. The Lady Jacks will likely throw multiple defensive looks at her, trying to disrupt her rhythm and force other Notre Dame players to beat them. Hidalgo's ability to navigate these defensive challenges will be crucial to the Fighting Irish's success. Here at the WBF, we're particularly interested in seeing if Notre Dame can recapture their early season magic. We'll be providing in-depth analysis of Hidalgo's performance and the Fighting Irish's overall form as we assess their potential to make noise in this bracket. Michigan versus Iowa State/Princeton. In our 6-11 matchup, the Michigan Wolverines will face the winner of the first 4 game between the Iowa State Cyclones and the Princeton Tigers. Michigan secured the 6th seed following a season in which they've relied heavily on their freshman class, with over half of their points coming from first-year players. This youth movement has injected energy and talent into the program, though it also comes with the inherent volatility of inexperienced players performing under pressure. Michigan will face either Iowa State or Princeton, depending on the outcome of their first 4 matchup. Iowa State brings Big 12 pedigree and a history of tournament success, while Princeton represents the Ivy League's tradition of disciplined, intelligent basketball that has produced numerous tournament upsets over the years. This potential contrast, Michigan's youthful energy against either Iowa State's power conference experience or Princeton's systematic approach, creates compelling storylines regardless of which team advances from the first 4. For Michigan, the challenge will be maintaining their freshmen's confidence and performance as the pressure intensifies. Tournament play is different from the regular season, and how these young players respond to the bright lights will determine the Wolverines' fate. Women's basketball fandom viewers will want to pay close attention to our coverage of the Iowa State-Princeton first 4 matchup, as we'll provide immediate analysis of how the winner might match up against Michigan's youth-driven attack in our continuing tournament coverage. TCU versus Fairleigh Dickinson. Our 2-15 matchup features the TCU Horned Frogs taking on the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights in a game that pairs a program achieving new heights against one making its first ever tournament appearance. TCU enters as the 2 seed following their first 31-win season in program history, a remarkable achievement that highlights their ascension to the elite level of women's college basketball. The Horned Frogs have established themselves as a legitimate national contender, combining efficient offense with disruptive defense to create a formula for success. Fairleigh Dickinson secured the 15th seed and is making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance, a historic moment for their program. The Knights' journey to this point represents years of program building and development, culminating in this opportunity to compete on the national stage. For TCU, this game represents the first step in what they hope will be a deep tournament run befitting their historic regular season. For Fairleigh Dickinson, it's a chance to create a memorable moment for their program against one of the country's top teams. The contrast between these programs, TCU reaching new heights versus Fairleigh Dickinson making their tournament debut, embodies what makes the NCAA tournament such a special event. While the Horned Frogs enter as heavy favorites, the Knights will embrace their underdog status and the opportunity to represent their program on the national stage. Here at the WBF, we celebrate both the established excellence of programs like TCU and the breakthrough moments for programs like Fairleigh Dickinson. We'll be highlighting both perspectives in our coverage of this intriguing matchup. Louisville versus Nebraska.
Nebraska was the most accurate three-point shooting team in the Big Ten this year. But if they're going to advance in the tournament, it's senior Alexis Markowski in the post.
Our final first-round matchup in the Birmingham 3 region features the Louisville Cardinals taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers in what could be one of the most exciting games of the opening round. Louisville enters as the 7th seed, making their 14th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance, a testament to the program's remarkable consistency and excellence. The Cardinals' tournament experience and pedigree make them a dangerous opponent regardless of seeding, as they've demonstrated the ability to perform on the big stage time and again. Nebraska comes in as the 10th seed, powered by their prolific three-point shooting that can change the complexion of a game in a matter of minutes. The Cornhuskers' ability to get hot from beyond the arc makes them a threat to any opponent, as they can erase deficits quickly or build substantial leads when their shots are falling. This 7-10 matchup presents a fascinating contrast in styles and program identities. Louisville brings their tournament pedigree and well-rounded approach, while Nebraska counters with their explosive perimeter attack that can overwhelm opponents when clicking. For women's basketball fandom viewers who appreciate both tradition and exciting offensive basketball, this game promises to deliver. Louisville's quest to maintain their tournament success versus Nebraska's ability to shoot their way to victory creates a compelling narrative that we'll explore further in our pregame coverage, conclusion, and regional outlook. As we conclude our breakdown of the Birmingham 3 region here on Women's Basketball Fandom, it's clear that this bracket features fascinating storylines at every seed line. From Texas's dominance behind Madison Booker to first-time tournament appearances for programs like William & Mary and Fairleigh Dickinson, The diversity of experiences represented in this region embodies what makes March Madness so special. While Texas enters as the favorite, Notre Dame looms as a dangerous threat if they can recapture their early season form. Hannah Hidalgo's ability to take over games gives the Fighting Irish a ceiling that could potentially challenge any team in this region. TCU's historic 31-win season makes them another serious contender, while traditional powers like Tennessee and Louisville bring their tournament experience to the mix. The beauty of the NCAA tournament lies in its unpredictability. Will we see South Florida challenge Tennessee in a classic 5-12 upset? Can Michigan's freshmen rise to the occasion on the big stage? Or will the favorites advance as expected, setting up a compelling Sweet 16 and beyond? Thank you for joining us for this third installment of our Selection Sunday coverage here on the WBF. Don't forget to check out our breakdown of the final bracket, where we'll analyze every matchup with the same depth and passion for women's basketball. We will be back later this week with our own completed WBF bracket. We invite you to fill out your own and share it with us. We will share everyone's bracket with the hashtag WBFandom brackets and shout out our winners. Remember to like this video, subscribe to Women's Basketball Fandom if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell to ensure you don't miss any of our tournament coverage. We'll be back with updates after each round, providing analysis, reactions, and previews as we follow these teams through their March Madness journey. Until next time, this is the WBF, where our passion for women's basketball knows no bounds.